Hi all, so in this video we are going to discuss about the sample producer program. First we will discuss it here, the basic things which we need to build our producer program, and then we are going to shift to our IDE. So we have understood, like, if this is our Kafka cluster, and in this we have brokers, and in brokers we have in topics we have partitions. Now our producer, which we are going to write, wants to send some message to this cluster. So in order to send some message to this cluster, we should have something in the sense, like, we should have some connection string. Like, suppose if we are connecting from our application, Java application, to database, we should have something, JDBC connections, or some local host, some port, some IP addresses should be there, username, password should be there. By that means only we can connect from our Java application to DB. Likewise, if our producer wants to connect to the Kafka cluster, so that it can send the message to the topic, it should have some properties associated with it. So in order to associate those properties, we are going to use the properties class, which will store all our values in the form of key value pair. So first thing is to create the properties object. And what you have to store in properties object? The very first thing, bootstrap server. Obviously the details of broker should be there, like on which host and port it is running. That is the only way you can connect your producer to the Kafka cluster. So if you are running locally, you are going to use localhost, and it will run at 9092 port. Like, next property is three basic properties it uses. One is the bootstrap server, second and third will be based on the serialization. Okay, suppose producer has some message ABC and it wants to send it to the Kafka cluster. So do you think sending ABC over the network to the Kafka cluster is going to work? Like, is it a good way to send this direct ABC over the network to this Kafka cluster? No. So we need serialization. We need to convert this message, string message, into in the form of bytes, so that Kafka cluster can store it easily. So for this only we need serialization, key serialization. First will be a key serialization, third will be your value serialization. And whenever the consumer wants to consume your message, it will go for the deserialization. It will convert those bytes to your string format. So for using the serialization, the key will be key dot serializer. And for third thing, I'll just explain you the value. Here it will come as value dot serializer. The value will go as org.apache.kafka, I guess in common, then in serialization, and then in serialization you have that format, whether string, what type of your key and value is there. So once this property setup is done, second step is like, when we send data to the Kafka server, we need to send it in the form of a producer record object. So we are going to make one producer record object, and it will store three things in itself. What are those three things? First is the topic, obviously the topic name, to which topic it wants to send the data. The second will be your key, and third will be your value. So once that is done, third thing is now we want to create an instance of Kafka producer, and we'll set all these properties to this Kafka producer, so that this Kafka producer should know to which Bootstrap server it should connect to, and it should convert the key and value to the byte format. And then this Kafka producer, if I write it as, will use the send API and send our producer record object, which will have our message and the topic. So these three things we want only to make our Kafka producer work, to make our Kafka producer to send message to the Kafka server. So first thing is the properties. Properties is the class in the Java which is basically used to store the key value pair. So we have done the basic configurations, the Bootstrap server, so that it should know to which Bootstrap server it should connect to, the key serialization and the value serialization, so as to convert the object into the byte format so that it can be passed over the network. Second thing is, whenever producer wants to send any data to the Kafka server, it needs to send it via the producer record object. And while creating the producer record object, it takes three things. One is the topic, second is the key, third is the value, and the last thing is we need to create the instance of Kafka producer and initialize it with the properties, so that we can use the Kafka producer.send API and send our producer record to it. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.